Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Tech Home Builder webcast. I am your host, Anya Christiansen, and joining me today is Betsy Feldman. Betsy is the co-founder and president of PriceBLDR. PriceBLDR is a software specifically designed for home builders that allows customers to price a home real time as they're browsing plans on your website. So Betsy, I'm so excited that you're able to join me today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I obviously love talking about what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, so to give you guys a little bit of a preview, as you know, the topic of consumer independence and really consumer self-service has been a hot topic as of late. And we've seen some of the benefits of what happens when you give consumers more autonomous decision-making ability. We see that they are spending longer time on the website. We see that they are spending more money when it comes to allowing consumers to make selections independently. But I think there's still a lot of builders out there who are not quite sold on the idea of giving consumers access to pricing. And I think the biggest excuse that I always hear from builders is that, we think that consumers are going to be scared off by the numbers, and that we're going to see a decline in the number of leads. So I'm really excited that we can actually share some data that backs up our initial thoughts of it's quite the opposite. When you give consumers data, you'll see more conversions, and the conversions are going to be more quality leads. Since Betsy, you were able to launch this service and you've had it up and running with several builders for a while, and so I'm really excited to have this information now. So why don't we start things off by, if you can give us a little bit of an overview for what exactly is PriceBLDR, how does it work?
Okay, so basically PriceBLDR is an interactive new home pricing tool. And so what it does is it allows a home shopper from a builder's website to price a home in real time. And it includes the price of the home and the monthly payment. And so as the user goes through the process of selections, they're selecting a plan, and then they're selecting floor plan options, they're selecting a home site, they're selecting interior finishes, even landscaping and elevation. So as they go through that process, our tool allows them to do that virtually and do it in real time directly from the builder's website. And it's designed to be really simple, very high level, just to allow home shoppers to be able to self-qualify without having to get in the car and drive from sales office to sales office, or get on the phone and spend hours trying to just understand if a builder's home and product is kind of within their search parameters.
Mm-hmm. So a couple of things I'd like to preface this by is that, number one, there's no additional expensive tools that you need to buy as a builder. Essentially what happens is PriceBLDR always overlays on top of your existing website. So it works with your website. Mm-hmm. And I was also very surprised by how affordable the software is. So it's not thousands of dollars, mm-hmm. It's in the hundreds. So it's definitely really, really affordable, no matter the size of your company.
Exactly. Yeah, we wanted to keep it really reasonable and really easy to use. So it deploys just from a URL link. So there's no work that has to be done on a website to integrate it. And, the system itself is really easy to use, both for builders and for customers. And like you said, it's really cost effective. There's not like a big setup fee. It's just, a monthly per community, and it's low.
Mm-hmm. And another disclaimer that I'd like to make right now is, obviously we're in an unusual sales environment, to say the least. The last year and a half have been really great when it comes to new home sales, but we've also seen a lot of challenges. And I think a lot of builders will need to admit that the sales that we've had were not the typical sales process, and that the way some of our customers have been treated during this process was also not ideal situation. And that I think if it wasn't for the circumstances that a lot of the people are, looking to move, they're looking to move right now, and they know the competition that they're competing with so many other people, that maybe typically they wouldn't have said yes to a home. They wouldn't have said yes to a process, but given the situation, given the competition, they were kind of forced to say yes, even though maybe it wasn't the most ideal experience on their part. So I just want to keep that in mind as we move forward, as market conditions will evolve and market conditions will change, and as we start to get back to a little bit more of a normal, we're going to need to really embrace this idea of giving our customers more information and more ability to self-qualify and make those decisions on their own, because as we know, majority of our customers are starting this journey on the website. And essentially what they're doing on the website is they are pre-qualifying you, or they're excluding you as a builder. So if you're not providing this basic information, and I say it's basic information, pricing for the home, then you're going to be excluded from this. So now we do have some data to actually back up the fact that giving customers pricing, and especially when it comes to not just the base price, I hope you are giving customers base price at the very least, but also giving them information about how much is the home site going to cost, how much is adding that big sunroom going to cost, how much is turning that bathroom into a desirable master suite is going to cost, owner suite, I should correct myself there. All right, so why don't we start by talking about average time spent on the website and really the engagement. One of the things we know that, especially with Google now making changes with how they rank our website, is really going to depend on how our customers are engaging with our website. So I think the more opportunities that you can provide as a builder to engage your customers on your website, the higher your Google ranking is going to be going forward. So this tool is also going to help you with that. So what are the numbers? What does it say?
So engagement is a great way to measure, how much people are reacting to your website, how long they're staying there. So we looked at average time on page. And so we looked at the builder's website, all the other pages that didn't have a price builder link and the ones that did. So the pages that we added price builder to increased by an average of 28% when we added just that, build and price link to that page. And really the other pages in that same time period did not have significant increases. And that makes sense. I mean, you're giving people a tool that's very interactive. It's something that's going to be a little stickier and keep them on the page longer. So, that sort of made sense to us that it would increase 28% is a pretty good number. So we were happy about that.
Yes, absolutely. And if you think about really consumer behavior now, okay, so if I go to a website and I'm comparing to websites of my potentially top builders, one of them has a floor plan, but as I'm building my dream home, nothing's changing as far as pricing. I'm not given information about my monthly payment, versus the other builder who is providing me with that information. And as you mentioned, Betsy, it's the self-qualification. Now I see those numbers, and hey, adding that huge sunroom on that's $28,000, it may be like, whoa, that's a lot of money. But when I see the monthly payment calculator that's displayed alongside with that, and it translates into, maybe a couple hundred or less than that, then suddenly it becomes a possibility of me adding that versus not going with it. So I think that's what consumers really want. They don't want to jump through additional hoops to get to this data. And one question I have about Price Builder. So I think for a lot of builders, they're afraid to lose control of the sales process. And that, once somebody gets this information, then they're just gonna go away. So is there a way to capture their information as they're building this? Is there a way for a consumer to send that to themselves, or how does that really work?
Yes, it's a great question. So, and that's, I think, the number one builder concern sort of initially is, I'm not sure I want to give everything on the website because then I may not convert them. I think the most important thing to keep in mind for a builder is that really the other builder down the street isn't your primary competition, it's resale.
Mm-hmm.
And so, even this market has demonstrated that, a lot lower resale inventory is going to drive up new home sales. So, that just explains that that really truly is the competition. And so the reality is that when you're looking at resale homes, all the information is readily available and it's easy to access. And so I think that's why people tend to go that direction, is because it's very difficult to understand what goes into a new home, to understand how much you're going to pay. I think people just get very intimidated. When you get to the end, after you've configured the home, you have the opportunity to have the summary of it emailed to you. And so when the consumer has the summary emailed, it also goes to whoever the builder has designated as the source for leads. And so then that builder knows, exactly what home that shopper is looking for. They know exactly what kind of home site, and they're so much further down the funnel. They go from kind of mid funnel to bottom of the funnel very, very quickly. And what we found is that traditionally builders' websites are converting between 0.5% and 2% of visits to leads, generally speaking. So overall, on average, once shoppers got into the Price Builder system, they were converting at 4.6%.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is like 8 times, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. So, when you're talking about the production builder that we beta tested with, that's literally 4 times their typical conversion ratio. So all of a sudden getting them into the Price Builder system becomes, a huge advantage. So now even that builder is kind of shifting things around on their website to drive as much traffic as they can into that system. The other thing that the salespeople have said is that, typical leads that they're getting are asking questions like, what's the HOA, what are lot premiums, all of those kinds of things. And they're not nearly as far down the funnel. So the leads that are coming in from Price Builder, the salespeople are saying they're much better quality leads. So not only are they getting 4 times the number, but they're also getting much higher quality. So, clearly it's painting a strong picture that this is what the consumer wants. And you're right now, builders don't have to do much to get leads.
Right.
But the salespeople right now that are getting those Price Builder leads really like it because it's eliminating a lot of the volume of interest from people who aren't really qualified and aren't actually going to buy, so that those salespeople can spend a lot more time, with the good quality buyers that they're going to have and be able to actually walk through the process. And most salespeople I know would much prefer fewer, higher quality leads than vice versa.
Yes, that's exactly right. I mean, as if you think back to our normal market, and we obviously don't have as many leads, but still you have decent amount of leads, and sifting through them and kind of almost blindly, because you're not sure, are they a strong lead or they're not a strong lead. So when they take certain actions on your website, that automatically signals to you that, hey, this is a much more serious person versus someone who is maybe not necessarily going through this tool yet. Or again, if they are going through the tool, but they're self-eliminated and decided, hey, maybe this is not something that I can afford.
Right.
And you can really spend your time working with a few leads that are moving to the next stage and actually giving you their information and asking for additional details.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I can think of a personal example, and I shared this with you before, that last time I went shopping for appliances, of course, go figure, during pandemic, I needed a new dishwasher, and I checked a few websites, and I was like, hey, let me check my local HBA. I know we have few members of HBA that are appliance stores, and so I went to their website. And I was literally shocked to find that the appliance that I pulled up, it didn't give me pricing for that particular model or for any model of appliances. It said I needed to submit my information in order to get that quote. And I'm sorry, I'm not giving you my information just to get pricing of the appliance. And if you think about shopping for a home, that is the biggest financial decision you're going to make. And
Mhm.
so if you are not providing this information, and again, the resale down the street certainly is, and maybe that your competitor down the street is going to start to provide this information. That's what people expect. And again, I state it's an expectation. It is not an above and beyond information. It is literally the baseline expectation, and it
Mhm.
should not be gated. I think there's a lot of conversation about, okay, do I show this information, but only if they provide me with their email address or not? So I'm definitely a big believer in that you should not put a gate to it. You should make that information readily available. And then, yes, as you mentioned, if they want to email it to them so that all the information is saved, please do. But you should be providing this information to your consumer so that they are able to, again, to include you in that search, and move you on to the next stage. Because guess what? I ended up giving my money to Lowe's, unfortunately, because they did give me the pricing for appliances and not the HBA member, which was very unfortunate. Now,
Right.
one of the things that I know you mentioned is that it sends an email to the sales rep when somebody sending that information over. So I think it also gives you a great insight as a builder, because you can see maybe there was a pattern of what type of a home are people pricing out. If you have, say, 4 or 5 different models available and people keep pricing the 2 or 3 models, hey,
Right.
maybe that's a hint right there that those are the models that you should build, and those are the models that maybe you should be using in your advertising efforts, because those are
Yes.
the ones that actually catch the attention. Um,
Exactly. Yeah. And the system is cool because even if a customer or a shopper doesn't ask to have their configuration emailed to them, it's databasing all of that. So
mhm.
yeah, builders can look back and see which plans are most popular, which floor plan options are most popular, how high people want to go or don't on upgrades, finish upgrades, what are popular elevations. There's so much data to be gained just from how people are, walking through the system and how they're configuring. That's a really kind of exciting, now that we're getting more data to be able to start sort of looking at that, I think will be the next exciting piece of information for builders to use.
Yes. And speaking of data, do you have information on what percentage of visitors um, engaged this tool versus did not engage the tool given an opportunity?
Yes. So when it was added to a builder's website, and I mean, when we say added, it's literally just a button that says build and price this home. So just adding that button, an average of 25% of visitors to that page used the system and actually like went through it, didn't just, land and bounce out. So, clearly it's meeting a need. It's obviously something that people want and are asking for. And especially as more resale inventory comes on the market, now is the time for builders to be building in some of these processes that are going to smooth things out for a home shopper.
Mhm.
Not necessarily all just because like that's the nice thing to do to make it easy for a shopper, but because it's really going to translate into much better results for you. If you're a builder, you're spending X amount on marketing. Well, if you can convert 4 times the leads from the same amount of marketing, that makes a huge difference, right? Like I wouldn't choose to spend the same amount for a Kia that I would for, a Mercedes. And ultimately, if you're not converting as high as possible on your website, that's exactly what a builder is doing, is you're settling for lower value from the same amount of money that you're spending to get those leads to your site.
Yes, and I think it is going to help with conversion in 2 ways. One, obviously, you have a higher percentage of people going from just the browsing to now I'm a pre-qualified lead, because essentially I pre-qualified myself for this.
Right.
And two, just if you think about, again, going back to consumer behavior and how people act when they're shopping on their own as opposed to when they're shopping with someone else. Like if you think about Amazon shopping, and we know that people on Amazon spend more money per shopping trip, quote unquote,
Right.
than they would be in just going to a regular store. We know that when people go to a fast food place and they have a self-service kiosk versus shopping through a live human, we know that they are ordering more food and food that is higher in calories when they're doing it themselves through this self-help kiosk.
Right.
We see the same thing with option selections when builders give their customers an option to build the home themselves and to select their options individually. We see that people spend more money and they're adding more options as opposed to going to meet with a selections coordinator and doing it in person in that 1 hour stressful time.
Right.
So there is definitely correlation between number of leads, quality of leads, and how much those leads are essentially going to spend on that new home. So
Exactly.
yeah, I'm really excited that you were able to see this data and to provide this data. As I told you, I was not in the least bit surprised to see it, and I'm just really excited that now you do have the statistics to actually back up our initial thoughts on this. So
Yeah, we are too.
yeah,
It's interesting. A lot of builders say, so are you thinking that, eventually we're not going to need our salespeople? And it's 100% the answer is no. I think your salespeople actually be probably more valuable than ever. But the reality is that it allows your salesperson to go from selling to being a concierge to the new home purchase process and really hold people's hands, make it a great experience all the way through. I mean, user generated content is such a big deal. And so, you have everybody who's buying is now, a mouthpiece for or against you. And so allowing your salespeople to really be able to focus on creating a great experience is one of the kind of cornerstones of what we believe, where we believe the market's going to go and where we think this tool can help kind of just take some of the burden off of the salespeople for weeding through prospects and really enable them to spend more quality time with the actual home buyers.
Yes, you said it best right there. I think whether it comes to allowing your customers to self-tour or to self-price on the website, same thing. It's not going to eliminate the salesperson. It's just going to make their job that much easier because they know exactly who their customer is and they are able to spend more time with the fewer customers as opposed to more time running after leads that are not going anywhere. And again, ultimately, as I said, provide that concierge hand holding and a great experience so that in turn that customer can say, wow, that was an amazing experience for me.
Right. Yeah, start to finish.
Yes.
That's the goal.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Betsy, if somebody wants to learn more about Price Builder and more about what you're doing, how can they connect with you?
Yep. So go to our website, which is PriceBLDR.com. And they can email us from there. We'd love to do a demo. You can see the platform actually live in action and try it out yourself. But yeah, that would be the next step. And then you can also, we believe in price transparency. So our pricing is on the website. You can actually just, if you want to, if you want to try it for a community, that's what we suggest, try it for one. We'll help walk through the whole process of getting it set up. It's easy, but you can actually just sign up right on the website too. So all about easy for both your customers and we wanted to make it the same for builders.
Yes, absolutely. Just, when you shop, think about how your customers shop because you probably shop the exact same way. So, yeah. So Betsy, thank you so much for sharing this information with us. I am so excited to see the numbers, and I hope that more builders are paying attention now to the trend that is going to continue, that people are ready for self-service on the website, in your model homes, and it's not going anywhere. So the best thing you can do is just to accommodate what your customers are looking for.
Yep.
So thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you on the next episode of the Tech Home Builder webcast. Until then, bye for now.